Yeah, good evening, everyone. See the first question of the day. The South China Sea has assumed great geopolitical significance in the present context. Comment. See the 13th question. Take 2 minutes. Yeah, good points, Rajni. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
So you see this particular South China Sea, a very, very important geostrategic and geopolitical location. You see the number of countries it is surrounded. The first thing is China. China, this China, Guangzhou region and all. And then you see Vietnam. Okay, it is near the Vietnam. And then on the right side, you see Taiwan on the top. Are you able to see the countries? Taiwan on the top. Manila, that is Philippines. Okay, Manila and Philippines. Manila is the capital of Philippines. And then at the bottom, Brunei. Okay, and on the southwestern side, there is the Singapore and Malaysia also. Okay, so the number of countries. Okay, this is East China Sea. Don't get confused with East China Sea and South China Sea. This is South China Sea. And this East China Sea is the point of conflict between China and Japan. As far as South China Sea is concerned, Japan is not directly involved in confrontation with China. These Asian countries are continuously fighting with China over the territorial rights of this particular sea, including these islands, the parcel islands, okay, this Spratly Islands, okay, and there is something called the 9-dash line, okay, the 9-dash line, which says that the South China Sea to a certain extent belongs to Philippines and the Spratly Islands belongs to Philippines, but China is not ready to accept the verdict. Okay, so in this context, you should understand the South China Sea, what is its importance? Okay, was the map visible to you all?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you have such, whenever in the world geography questions, which are related to polity also, you can use your knowledge in polity. Okay, so some of you have political science as your optional. Okay, so it comes under the South China Sea is even part of your international relations. So, and the question also is asking about geopolitical significance. So you can write about geographical importance and political importance. Okay, so basically the question is about South China Sea and its geopolitical significance. What is its geopolitical significance? So in the present context, in that year, what happened? This particular judgment came. Okay, the international arbitration gave judgment in the favor of Philippines, and then there was a contention about especially this Spratly Islands, and that it said that this belongs to Philippines, and then China immediately rejected the claim, and ever since then, the China has been very aggressively increasing its infrastructure in this particular South China Sea, including building of artificial islands, occupying many islands, and not giving any kind of respect towards the fellow neighbor countries. which are the Asian countries. So you can, in the introduction, in the present context at that time, you can definitely write about this particular judgment or this particular ruling in favor of Philippines. But if today you have to write this answer in the present context, you can say that South China Sea, which is an important water body in the southeast of Asia, it is seen that China has been aggressively claiming many parts without consensus of its fellow countries. Hence, it assumes geopolitical significance. Is the introduction clear?
Yes, sir.
So in the body, you'll write what are the various dimensions of the geopolitical significance. So I have shown you the map. In the exam, if possible, in the body, onto the right side, draw a small map explaining the examiner where exactly this South China Sea is there. You'll definitely score brownie points by mentioning like this. You can draw China here. You see, if you see how it looked, China and then Thailand, okay, and then Vietnam, okay, Vietnam here, and in the here it is Malaysia and Singapore, okay, and onto the right here, bottom right, it is Brunei, then Philippines, okay, on the top it is like this. So this is South China Sea, somewhere in the shape like this, okay. You can draw this random diagram and name the countries like this: China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, and here it is Strait of Malacca, Strait of Malacca, and then here it is Brunei, it is Manila here, okay. You can write all this and then that will make some good impact. So what is the geopolitical significance? Obviously, the first is the strategic importance. In the geopolitical angle, the first is the strategic importance. So what is the strategic importance? This particular South China Sea is connecting Indian Ocean to Pacific Ocean. So this particular thing, okay, through the Strait of Malacca, which has extremely busiest trade route, one of the busiest trade routes, becomes a very big strategic point for any country to control. Next is natural resources. Vietnam has found oil resources in South China Sea, and hence the presence of large reserves of oil becomes a very big thing for countries bordering this sea. Next, obviously, is the trade route. Close to 25% of world trade occurs through this route. Then fishing, it has lot of fish varieties and it becomes important for food security of the countries. And finally, it's important for navigation. Okay, so since it is part of World Sea Route, safe navigation is an important issue. Apart from that, if you remember any other dimensions, like the how it is protecting natural resources, biodiversity, all these you can write, not an issue. And then in the conclusion, you can write the expansionist attitude of China is a big concern. And the need of the hour. And countries, 1 minute, and countries like India also have indirect stake. How India and Vietnam have the agreement through ONGC Videsh. Like India, Vietnam, oil agreement through ONGC Videsh. Hence, this is belonging to multiple countries should be guarded by international agreed norms and not through lens of individual countries' interests. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in the conclusion, we are saying that South China is internationally important. India is having an indirect stake through in fact, we can say even direct stake. India, Vietnam have an agreement through ONGC Videsh. So when SASC, which is guarded by around 6 to 7 countries, China singly cannot state just because of its might or the size, it cannot have a say. That is what we are trying to say. Good. This anything like this is fine. Yeah. NATO is not for settling the disputes. NATO example is wrong, ma. Okay. Basically, you can say this one. This one is right. Strengthening the UN LCS is right. Okay. And then conclusion you have to give, Prashanti. Okay. So this angle is good. What you are bringing, what to do to settle the disputes. You are trying to give solutions. It's a very good angle. But then, be careful. NATO or European Union, these are not solutions to international issues. Okay, because NATO is not an international body. It is a, okay, there are 40 odd countries like that, but then it is not an international body. Clear, Prashanti? 14th, I think we have done. Yes or no? Everyone agrees that 14th has been done. Very similar
Yes, sir.
question we have done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ocean currents, reasons for formation of ocean currents. And here the application they are asking very specific. What is the role in fishing? The second, you can see, these kind of questions like ocean currents, okay, volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis. So because there is only very limited portion in the physical geography, okay, like one thing is the continents formation theory, okay, then is your natural this thing, earthquake, natural disasters like earthquake, volcano, tsunami, and then ocean currents, marine resources. So one very good thing you have in physical geography is, unlike Indian or human geography, the portion is very limited. Even if the physical geography is interlinked to world geography, even then the portion is limited. It should not take any serious aspirant more than 2 or 3 days to revise the physical geography. And then the advantage of physical geography is, once you read, you are likely to remember many of the concepts, except, the word-to-word definitions that you can anyhow by heart just before the examination. Okay. And the frequency of repetition is very high. You are for sure that, okay, out of the 10 topics I have read in physical geography, I am definitely getting a one question, either 10 marker or 15 marker question. So out of 10 topics, if you are getting this, then it's a very good ratio which is occurring in the examination. So always concentrate on physical geography in a sense that you should work on your presentation and then writing the answer crisply and to the point. This is the important aspect here. So coming to the 14th question, okay, we have discussed this already. So I'll just go through one of your answers so that, through that we'll again recollect what has been. Sumant, you have submitted 2 times. What is that? Two answer sheets. Sumant? What are the forces that influence? See the question. What are the forces that influence the ocean currents? Describe their role in fishing industry of the world. Okay. Ocean currents, okay, are the movements of water, okay, temperature, okay, insolation, temperature impacts the ocean currents. Yes, the salinity, the Coriolis force, wind, yes, gravity, Coriolis force, okay, yeah. So this up to here it is good. Like you can see, there are 2 parts of the question. What are the factors? Factors are wind, gravity, temperature, salinity, okay, the sun's race, the pressure difference, okay, and then the Coriolis force, okay, which is towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere, okay, and then what is the role of ocean currents in the fishing industry? So yes, the converging points between the cold and warm ocean currents are the best breeding points for fishing because the plankton grow here in abundance. The plankton grow here in abundance. Okay. And this convergence also will give ways to the defreezing of various ports in the Scandinavian countries. Okay. Good. So some of the best fishes, some of the best fishing things can be found here. So yes, hence they play a major role in the fishing industry. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
See the third question. The recent cyclone on the east coast of India called Philin. Okay. How are the, I think there is some incompleteness in the question. Okay. How are the tropical cyclones named across the world? Okay. So they are asking you how are the tropical cyclones named across the world. Please be careful. At that point of time, the nomenclature and the type of naming was different. It was 2013. Recently, the naming and nomenclature of the tropical cyclones changed. And now the present naming is slightly different from what it was there before 2 years. So I hope you must have written the answers in that context only. Not as far as 2013 is concerned. Yeah. Okay, Suman. Yes, Rajni. Yes. If you remember, you people, previously it was 8 countries giving 8 names. Now 13 countries are giving 13 names each. So 13, it becomes 169. And yes, so very fair points. Rajni, all the points are, and then if you can make up these points, it becomes, very simple and straightforward answer. Okay. And these type of questions also they are asking. Though it is a fact-based or a, straight content question, but still they are asking. And more so because the naming conventions are also changing. Okay. So very simple and straightforward answer. So the question is naming of tropical cyclones. No, naming of tropical cyclones. Okay. So in the introduction, you can just give the definition of cyclone in one or just, it's like how it is a low pressure depression, and then come straight away as to how the World Meteorological Organization and UNCTAD have come together. Sorry, UNSCAP have come together in trying to identify various names in the tropical.
Sir, sorry for interrupting, sir. Shanta Prasad is waiting in the. Can you please let me in, sir?
He was admitted, right, long back?
Yes, sir, but somehow he got disconnected and he just texted me to request you.
Okay, then I just saw his message. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Fine. So, low pressure depression. So this is how these bodies came up with tropical cyclones, how they have to be named. So in the body, you will write how the evolution has come. Okay. So how evolution has come. So the WMO, that is World Meteorological Organization, has given to the regional councils to decide upon how you want to, because cyclone is the name which is given to the tropical depressions. Okay. In the North America, what do you call them? What do you call these kind of cyclones in North America?
Hurricanes, sir?
Hurricane.
Yes, hurricanes. Okay, even recently there was a very big hurricane near the Florida region. Hurricanes are very common in North America. And what do you call them in Australia and New Zealand side?
Willy.
Yeah, Wiley or Willy. So since there is no common name through which this is called, especially in the Indian Ocean and the Bay of Bengal region, they are called cyclones. They are properly called as cyclones. And more so because they are occurring in the tropical waters, they are referred to as tropical cyclones. So instead of calling these tropical cyclones as tropical cyclones, there is a process of giving them names. So at present, okay, the North Indian Ocean, the Indian Ocean associated countries. So basically there are 13 countries and each country has given 13 names. Okay, so there are total 169 names which are suggested by various countries and are used for naming the cyclones. So what are the names? What is the basis for the names given? The names, what are the basis for names? They should not hurt the religious. They should not hurt the religious sentiments of the people. Okay, they should be, they should not be political names. To the extent possible, they should be easy to remember. Okay, so these are the few of the hints or few of the conditions. Okay, and it should not be more than 8 characters. So these are some of the conditions given to the regional meteorological departments, that out of this you choose 13 names and give it to us, and these 13 names will become 169 names. So what is the importance of naming? So the next heading will be the importance. Basically, when the cyclones are named, easier to remember, easier to communicate, and common people can easily register such names and they can get connected to such names, and even the media can report easily through such names. And there is a proper way in which the cyclones can be named now. So hence it avoids any potential confusion among various countries. Okay. And also can lead to better understanding of the entire process of cyclones. Okay, so and then you can conclude by saying, so these are some of the ways how the cyclones are. Yeah. So I hope you are all able to see the screen which I have shared.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? I think there is slight blur, but is it visible? Is
No,
it
sir,
visible to you?
Yes, sir. Very much readable.
Okay. So you see the names given by India from left to right: Gati, Tej, Murasu. So if you are able to remember few of the names and write it in the example, for example, India has given Gati, Tej, Marusu, Ag, Vyom, Jhar, Prabha, Neer, Prabhanjan, Gurni, Ambud, Jaladi and Vega. So it goes like this from top to bottom. Okay, we have seen all these names. If you can remember, Nisarga, Gati, Nivar, Taukti, Yas, Gulab, Shaheen. It goes from top to bottom, list one. And you can see the countries are arranged in alphabetical order so that no country is given preference over the other. So obviously Bangladesh B, it is coming at the first. And you write United Arab Emirates and Yemen. So from alphabetical order, from Nisarga to Mocha. Okay, we have already seen Asani also. So next, Sitrang. So if you have this table, you can easily understand. You can sometimes correlate with the naming of the cyclone. Okay, I know the next cyclone name. So being a UPSC aspirant, you'll have an edge over your parents or brothers or sisters that yes, you know the next cyclone name also. Okay. So Mocha, after Mocha, Biparjoy will be the cyclone. Are you able to understand? After Mocha, next will be Biparjoy. After Biparjoy, Tej. Clear? So this table, obviously no one can remember. Okay. You can remember few of the names and write that this country has given this name and etc. Like that. Okay. That also if you remember, not a hard and fast rule. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Yes, countries are arranged in alphabetical order. Good. Yes, no religious sentiments, no political affiliations. Answer is good, but try to give a conclusion, Shanta Prasad.
Actually, I found difficult to find conclusion for this type of question. I face difficulty to find conclusion for this question, sir.
I know, because it's a very, factual based question. So, for you, what tip I can give to make a conclusion? 1 minute. So this part you write in the conclusion. Since your introduction is already lengthy, okay, this part you join here and make your introduction. This part you can make in conclusion. You can say that initially tropical cyclones were not named and identified with their latitude and longitude. Few hundred years ago, it started, and ever since then, initially it was 8 plus 8. 8 countries gave 8 names, but now it has become 13 plus 13. This is for convenience. Clear?
Okay,
Like
sir,
the Right. See the 16th question, the last question. Most of the unusual climatic happenings are explained as an outcome of El Nino effect. Do you agree? Yeah. Good points, Rajni and Sumant. Yes, unusual, unusual climate happenings are because of El Nino of late. So what is the question about? It's asking you El Nino, okay, and its impact on unusual climatic happenings. El Nino and unusual climatic happenings. Okay, so obviously in the introduction, you'll write about what is El Nino. As most of you are pointing out, that is a perfect approach. What is El Nino? It is unusual heating of waters in Eastern Pacific. Okay, so this causes severe low pressure. The body you can write El Nino causes severe low pressure in the South America, especially near Peru and Argentina areas, and brings huge rainfall in this area. Huge rainfall, floods. Contrary to that, in the Indian Ocean, because of the concept called ENSO, El Nino and Southern Oscillations. So El Nino generally is accompanied with this ENSO, El Nino, Southern Oscillations. Because of this, the Indian Ocean countries in Indian Ocean become very less in rainfall. Less in rainfall almost creates a drought-like situation. As far as the India is concerned, El Nino severely weakens the southwest monsoon. And the moment we call southwest monsoon, we know that it is the lifeline for Indian agriculture. And hence, it has severe impact on India's food security. So that is the thing. And now come to the climatic. Of course, these are also climatic. So obviously climatic is one is the floods in South America, drought in Indian Ocean countries. Okay, and then extremely high temperature. It can lead to forest fires, erratic wind patterns, and also danger to biodiversity of marine life. Okay, danger to the biodiversity of marine life, right? So these are some of the issues which are being faced with El Nino, and you can say the opposite concept of El Nino is La Nina, and which brings drought to South America, and flood-like situation to Indian Ocean regions. And then in the conclusion, you can write, previously El Nino on an average used to repeat for every 7 to 10 years. But now an El Nino is repeating for every 3 to 4 years. This is because of climate change. If climate change is not stopped or not addressed with, such undesirable extremes like El Nino or La Nina keep occurring, endangering the population in these countries. Clear? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Again, you see, I brought the concept of climate change. Yeah, Sumant, you're saying something?
Yes, sir. Like it is 150 word answer, but writing this much
I have
will
not
be...
written more than 150 words. So 150 word answer, then just the entire answer you write, but be very choosy with the words. Don't expand. Okay. If
Yes,
you
sir.
say you expand these points, it becomes more than 150. Expand these points in such a way that the examiner understands them.
Yes, sir.
Need not go into depth, because I want to use this question as an opportunity, because El Nino was there even before. Okay, El Nino is not a new concept. El Nino used to occur every 8 to 10 years, and every 8 to 10 years there was a impact or hard hitting on the rainfall. Southwest monsoon used to be weak and all. But the worry now for many of the scientists is this particular phenomenon of El Nino has become very frequent. In last 10 years, El Nino was coming 3 or 4 times. And when we try to investigate what exactly is the reason, we found again this as the root cause. So again, for everything, climate change is the root cause. No one wants to speak about climate change, but everyone wants to speak about other issues which are impacted by climate change. So isn't it hypocrisy that we don't want to talk about climate change, but we want to talk about El Ninos, we want to talk about urban floods, planning infrastructure for urban floods, removing the, encroached wetlands. Fine, we are talking about all those wonderful things. But what are we doing for stopping the climate change? When there is a flash flood in Hyderabad, flash flood in Bangalore, we are then immediately talking, yeah, see how much these cities have become urbanized. No one wants to care about it. We have to start urban planning, strategic Nala development program, all that we are talking. But why there is a necessity about all this? In a state like Telangana, where the average rainfall is less than the Indian rainfall, there are flash floods. In Chennai, there is flash flood. So something there is seriously wrong with what is happening with our nature. And that evil is called climate change. Unfortunately, none of us are really talking about that. We are talking about survival from the climate change, assuming that climate change is already, we have nothing to do with the climate change. So let's start preparing for climate change. In a way, it may be good, but at least try to stop the damage of climate change. But somehow the theme of climate change, which was very good last 3 or 4 years back, I personally feel it has taken a back seat. Because now countries are behaving very erratically. Some country in the morning comes and says, like just randomly saying, not that today morning, but some country says that, yeah, okay, I'll start coal production. So that is how the situation is operating like. So why? Because as a UPSC aspirant, as a person who's going to be responsible for policy making for at least 3 decades in your public life, you should be clear of what exactly you are trying to say. And hence, talking about the pertinent issues will make you look very mature. So that is what I feel. Is it clear? This is good. So simple diagram, you see, it's a good thing. Precipitation, drought, marine life, forest fire, yes, wind pattern. Okay, conclusion can be slightly better, Rajni, as we discussed. So remaining part of the answer is good. Conclusion can be slightly better. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So Sumant, do you agree with what we have written in the conclusion? Sumant is not there. I think he's left. Others? Santa Prasad, you agree with the conclusion we have written?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so always when you write or address an issue, try to see what is the larger impact of that issue, what is the root cause of that issue, and try to address that in your question, in the answer, try to address this in your answer. So it will look very holistic. The answer will look holistic. So the question is about El Nino. If you see our answer, nowhere we have deviated from El Nino. Okay, we are not talking about climate change or Paris conference. Okay, we are not talking about COP or something like that. We are indirectly bringing that angle of climate change and informing the examiner, boss, this erratic behavior of El Nino is because of the climate change. Clear? Okay. So, fine. On that note, we'll take a break and we'll meet on, I think we have holidays, right? If I'm not wrong. When is our next class scheduled? Geography. So 21st, today is 21st. So we'll meet again on the Wednesday. Cool. Okay, 26th is our next meeting. Wednesday. Next Wednesday we'll meet for the class. Okay, have a happy and safe Diwali. Okay, so just, you can take a break for 2 or 3 days, enjoy, and then come back for the answer writing. So we'll again meet on 26th. Good night.